Helping your parents can feel like the right thing to do, until it starts draining your savings, pushing your retirement further away, and turning you into the one person everyone calls when money falls apart. And if you do not set the limits early, helping can quietly become a financial role you never meant to take on. That is what this video is actually about. This isn't about how to stop helping. It's about how to help without losing yourself in the process. Here is where a lot of people in your position actually are right now. You are working. You are managing your own bills. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have debts. Maybe your savings account is not where you need it to be, but you are working on it. And now, on top of all of that, one or both of your parents are starting to need financial help. And it starts small, that is the thing. It almost always starts small. A car repair they could not cover. A prescription that got expensive. One rough month where the numbers just did not work. You step in because that is what you do. You are not going to watch your parents struggle when you can do something about it. So you help, and it feels okay because you tell yourself it is just this once. Then 3 months pass, and it was not just once. There was another thing after that, and another thing after that. And now you are not just helping occasionally, you are expecting it. You are budgeting around their emergencies before you even figure out your own month. And the word help does not quite fit anymore, but you have not found another word for it yet. Here is the word responsibility. Somewhere along the way, without any conversation, without any agreement, their financial instability became your ongoing problem to manage. And that shift from helping once to being quietly responsible, that is the shift nobody warned you about. This video is not about abandoning your parents. It is not about being selfish or cold. Your parents are not villains. They are people you love who are facing what a lot of older Americans are facing: retirement savings that were never enough, healthcare costs that keep climbing, fixed income that does not stretch. None of that is their fault. But here is what is true: helping without limits is not generosity. It is financial chaos with good intentions. And there is a real difference between those two things. The first boundary: only give money you have already decided you can afford to lose. When a parent calls with a problem, you are not in a financial mindset. You are in an emotional one. The guilt, the love, the image of them struggling, all of that hits at once, and you say yes before you have run a single number. You pull from savings you needed. You put it on a card you were trying to pay off. You tell yourself you will sort it out later. Later always comes, and it is never easier. The rule is simple even if it is not easy. Before you send money, ask yourself one honest question. If I never see this back, am I okay? Not happy about it, not comfortable, but okay. If the answer is no, you cannot give that amount. Not because you do not love them. Because moving the crisis from their house to yours does not fix anything. Now there are two households struggling instead of one. And once you make a panic-based financial decision once, it is easier to make the next one. That is the part that sneaks up on people. One yes turns into a pattern before you ever consciously agreed to a pattern. The second boundary: you are not their emergency fund. This is the line most people cross without fully noticing it. An emergency fund is for unexpected problems. It is not for every month. It is not a permanent income stream. When you become the person your parents call every single time they come up short, you have stopped being support and started being infrastructure. You are not a backup plan anymore. You are part of how they stay afloat every month. And that is a completely different thing. Occasional support, stepping in when something genuinely goes wrong, that is something most people in this situation are willing to give. That feels manageable. But when the calls become predictable, when you know before the month even starts that something is going to come up, when you are mentally setting money aside for their next shortfall, that is not occasional anymore. That is structural. You have to be honest with yourself about which one this is. Because if it is structural, sending more money is not solving the problem. It is just delaying the real conversation that actually needs to happen. The third boundary: pay for specific things, not open-ended cash. Here is something practical that makes a real difference. When you transfer money with no direction attached to it, you lose control immediately. You do not know where it goes. You cannot track whether your help is actually solving the specific problem. And the amount you give has a way of never quite feeling like enough, because there is no clear line around what it is supposed to cover. When your help is specific, that changes. If your parent needs help with groceries, pay the grocery bill. Prescription, pay the pharmacy. Electricity, pay the utility company directly. Doctor visit, pay the provider. Specific help stays contained. You know exactly what you spent. Your parent gets exactly what they need. And everyone is clear about what your contribution covers and what it does not. This is where support quietly becomes sacrifice, when the money flows without any structure and the amount keeps growing because nobody ever defined what it was for. Targeted help does not just protect your budget. It actually makes your help more effective. Because you can see it working or you can see that it is not, and that visibility matters. The fourth boundary, your retirement and your emergency savings are not part of this. This is the one I want you to really sit with. There is a version of this situation that plays out constantly in households across this country, and it goes like this. A parent has a recurring financial problem. The adult child has some savings, maybe a 401k, maybe an emergency fund they worked hard to build. The problem feels urgent, the savings feel accessible. And one withdrawal becomes two becomes a pattern. And eventually the savings are gone, the problem is still there, and the adult child has quietly destroyed years of financial progress to temporarily patch something that keeps coming back. You should not burn down your future to keep today alive. That is not a motivational line. That is just the math. Every dollar you pull from retirement early costs you more than $1 in the future, not just because of the penalties, but because of the compounding you lose. Time is the whole mechanism behind retirement savings. Once you take that money out, that version of your future does not come back. And your emergency fund, that exists to keep you standing when something unexpected hits you. If you drain it for someone else's ongoing situation, you have no floor left. You are one car repair away from your own crisis. Your parents need real help. And most parents, if they genuinely understood the full picture, would not want you to dismantle your own financial foundation to provide it. That conversation may need to happen. But it starts with you being honest with yourself about where the line is. The fifth boundary, this is not your job alone. This one is personal, and I am going to say it plainly. In a lot of families, there is one child who handles it, the responsible one. The one who picks up the calls, sends the money, manages the appointments, and carries the weight. And the other siblings, they are around, but somehow never quite available. They have their own things, they live further away. They just never stepped up, and nobody ever directly made them. So the reliable one handles it. And their reliability becomes everyone else's excuse to do less. No one ever officially said this was your job. It just became true, quietly, gradually. Until it was just the arrangement, and you were too deep in it to figure out how to change it. If you are that person, if you are carrying the financial weight of helping a parent largely on your own, that is a family conversation that needs to happen. Not a fight, a real conversation about who is contributing what, and whether the current distribution is something everyone can actually sustain. Not everyone has to give the same amount. That is okay, people have different incomes, different circumstances. But when one person is covering almost everything because they are simply the most responsible, that person gets punished for being reliable. And eventually they burn out. And when they burn out, the whole system fails, including the help your parent was depending on. Here is the reframe I want to leave you with. Boundaries are not you pulling away. They are not you choosing your money over your family. A boundary is what makes help sustainable. It is the difference between giving from a stable place and giving until there is nothing left to give. Real support, the kind that actually lasts, needs honesty about what you can give. It needs structure, it needs clarity about what your help covers. Helping without any of that does not make you a good child. It makes you someone who is heading toward their own financial crisis while trying to prevent someone else's. The goal is not to choose between your parents and your future. The goal is to help in a way that does not require you to destroy one to protect the other. Those two things are not in conflict. But they do require you to have the hard conversation, set the terms, and hold the line, even when the guilt makes it feel wrong to do so. Before you go, I want to ask you something real. If you are already in this situation, already helping, already feeling the pressure of it, what is the one boundary you know you need to set, but have not been able to bring yourself to set yet? Leave it in the comments. A lot of people watching this are carrying the same thing. You are probably not as alone in it as it feels.